Oh, hi. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Hey, you gotta turn your off. My internet's not working. Wow, we've never had this happen before. That's exciting. Doesn't it feel brand new? Here, let me get the door. Oh my God, I was so excited about tonight because look, I have a little studio. I made a little studio. It's a long story, I'll tell you at the end. But now I have my own little sign. I crafted a sign today. Have I told you the one about? Anyways, it's all very exciting. But tonight we're just going to get into it. Have I told you the one about my first blackout? So I'm going to, oh, wait, but before I start, I want to tell you two things. Tonight's story goes out to two very special people. I had already decided I was going to go out to one special person, but then he just texted me because he's a special person to say that our other friend, it's his birthday. And so now the story is going out to both of them. So this story goes out to Morgan. Happy birthday. He's one of my amazing radical fairy friends. And it goes out to my friend Marcus, who has the unlikely last name of Greatheart. So Marcus Greatheart, Dr. Marcus Greatheart, you're amazing and I love you. And thanks for helping all the world be a better place and also having time to tell me my stories make you happy. You're great. So this story's for them. Okay. Even it is my first blackout, but whatever, who cares, right? Entertainment's entertainment. Whatever gets, as long as you get mentioned. So I want to start the story by telling you that I've been sober. It'll be 22 years on May 10th. So this was a long time ago and you don't have to worry about me. I'm fine. But I used to have quite the drinking problem. And when I lived in Cornwall, Ontario, and I drank with my friends from high school, it was fine. And when I moved to Toronto, I lived with a bunch of friends and lived with my boyfriend, and it was fine. And then when I moved to Vancouver, things got really bad. But I had a few glimmers because I didn't live with anybody who could look out for me. We have other stories for those. So anyways, this was at the very beginning of me realizing maybe I had a problem. This was my first blackout. That's the beginning of the realization that maybe you also have a problem. But I get ahead of myself because of the title. So I was living in Toronto. I was just finishing. I had just finished university and I was living with my friend Paul and my other friend Nike. The three of us shared a little 2-bedroom place with a large closet, and Nike slept in a large closet. It had enough room for a single bed, and we didn't charge her hardly any rent. And we had bedrooms. Anyways, we lived there. We were all really broke. I had just graduated from university. I didn't have any money. Paul was still in grad school, and Nike, I think, was just finishing school too. Anyways, we're all really broke, and we're living in Toronto, so you shack up. And New Year's came along, and Buddies in Bad Times Theater, which was the long-standing gay and lesbian theater, it's the gay and lesbian theater in, I would say, North America, but certainly in Canada. They've been around forever, and they had a new space. And this new space, they would throw bigger parties, and they used to always throw these dungeon parties. And I heard stories about what happened at the dungeon parties, and I wanted to go because whatever, let's have a little excitement. I'm wearing gloves because of COVID. I thought, new studio and all, you never know who was in here before me. And so Paul and I wanted to go to the New Year's Eve party, and we had just started doing drag. I honestly think this was my first time in drag outside of a play that I did. I did drag for a play. And then we were going to this party because I didn't have any dresses. And it was a New Year's dungeon party. I didn't know what to wear. So Nike had this really fabulous vintage dress. Dungeon parties got a little milder. There wasn't a lot of dungeon there, but it meant leather and denim. There was a kind of a dress code of, the butch. And I thought I was going to do matter, and the only dress that was available for a poor fag who lived with a girl was her fancy dress that fit me really well. And it was just a little A-line orange dress with a bejeweled buckle in the front of it, low down. It's sort of like a flapper's dress, and it had a little bit of orange marabou all the way around the bottom. It was really sweet, and it had just a little scoop neck, and it was sleeveless. It was adorable. It was really sweet. So I had a blonde wig. I owned one wig at the time. How times have changed. And I wore this blonde wig, and I painted my face, and I went to this dungeon party with my friend Paul. Paul he was a math major. He did a master's degree in math, so it was pure math. He thought he was going to lose his mind. And then he switched, and he ended up coming to my school, and he ended up finishing a PhD in sociology, and now he teaches at Ryerson, but I won't tell you his last name. But Paul and I did drag. He was my first drag buddy, and we did all kinds of fun things together. So anyways, we were going out for a night on the town together, single, New Year's Eve, sissy girls. We had a lot of fun. And as soon as I got to the party, I realized, okay, look, I didn't know, but everybody's in denim or leather or plaid. And we were just milling about. And when we got there just a little bit before midnight, because it was a big lineup, and suddenly it was midnight, and they were handing out free champagne. These really cute guys with their shirts off were walking around with trays of champagne. So I would just take two and say, oh, I got my one for my buddy. And then I'd be like, I'd never drank champagne before because I was a small town blue collar fag. Where the fuck did you ever drink champagne? So I never drank champagne before. So I didn't know that when you drink champagne and there's a lot of sugar, it goes to your head really quickly. Well, I got so pissed drunk. I started going around the entire crowd because the New Year's had rang, and I decided I was going to kiss everybody. I kissed every cute man I saw, every single one. I just went around the crowd. I must have kissed 50 people. And this cross-eyed guy I think he was wearing like a red plaid shirt. This was 1994 New Year's Eve, 1994. So 93 turning into 94. Plaid, people were wearing plaid. It wasn't so lumber twinky. So he was in a red plaid shirt, and he was cross-eyed, and I kind of like cross-eyed, but he was really quite aggressive. And I was in a dress. I wasn't used to being in a dress, and I wasn't used to anybody thinking I was hot. But I had really great legs, and I was skinny as a twig. And so men always thought I was hot. People told me that all the time. My legs that had been boy legs were suddenly girl legs. Maybe I'll tell you the story about the power of drag. Anyways, so this guy's hitting on me, and I'm like, oh my God, he's so aggressive. I'm just gonna like hit the road. I'm gonna find Paul. So I go around and I kiss a whole bunch of people on my way looking for Paul. He's the other blonde, so it was kind of easy to find. Great big blonde wig. When I get to him, we partied. I don't know. We partied for maybe an hour or something, and we were having fun. And then he was tired and was ready to go home. His feet were sore. He was wearing heels, but I was still drunk. I didn't know any better. This was the first time that I went out for a night on the town, and I didn't go home when my friends went home. And I'd been drinking, and I had no idea. I didn't know about these things. I didn't know there were rules or guidelines, principles that could keep you safe. So my wig's in a disarray, and I'm wandering around, and I'm kissing everybody, and I look, I'm like, you're so cute, you're so adorable. I said that to everybody. It can be entertaining too. I was charming. I told little stories. And finally, the cross-eyed guy came back and hit on me again. But I didn't realize I had talked to him earlier. I really like cross-eyed guys. I think they're kind of cute. It's kind of like guys with broken arms, right? You see some guy with a broken arm and he's like a little bit hotter. My husband always tells me that it's also guys with beards. I'll kind of perk up a little and look at him like, oh, did you see that? And he'll be like, it's the beard. Oh yeah, you're right, that's the beard. Anyways, cross-eyed. I didn't realize it was the same guy. I just thought, oh, look, it's another cross-eyed guy, because I was too drunk to recognize him. And he said, oh, let's go make out or something. And I'm like, sure, what do you want to make out? And he was like, oh, let's make out in the bathroom. And I was like, okay, for sure, let's go make out in the bathroom. So I ran into Paul on the way there, just sort of in passing. He was going to get his coat. And I went downstairs and I waited in line. And the coat check was right in behind me. So Paul sort of followed us, and I said goodbye, and he could figure out what was going on. And we waited in line for quite a long time, but there was also a long line up in the coat check. And finally, we ended up inside the bathroom. And I don't know what happened to Paul. I never saw him again. He went home without me. So I'm in the bathroom in this lineup. There's only 2 or 3 stalls in that bathroom. And it was a brand new facility. They hadn't used it hadn't been doing it for very long. And they could have used more stalls. I think there must have been a girls' bathroom. It was probably gendered. So it was a boys' bathroom, but everybody was in line. It was pan-gender, right? So anyways, I'm waiting in line with this guy and I don't know what we're talking about, but I finally get frustrated because the one door isn't opening and I'm a little bit OCD. Like I kind of notice when things aren't working the way they're supposed to. So I noticed this for quite some time and I couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, I'm just going to go look and see what's going on with that stall. People around us were rumbling. So I walk over and I'm quite tall because I'm 6'1" and I'm wearing heels. So I'm about 6'4". So it's really easy. And I just kind of peer over and I look down and there are these 2 lesbians doing cocaine lines off the toilet seat because there was no back to the toilet. There was no porcelain. So they were doing lines off the toilet seat. I was like, oh, well, that's a dungeon party. Now I found it. Anyways, so I went back in line and just announced very loudly, oh, it's just some dykes doing lines of coke. They'll be done soon. I guess it took them a while to cut it up or something. I don't know. Maybe they were fucking. I don't know. Anyways, eventually we moved to the front of the line. We got in the bathroom. We made out. We had sex in the wash hall. It was my first time having sex in public. So it was a lot of firsts. I could have called it that, but a lot of you straight people might not have watched. So we finish fooling around and we come out of the stall and there was still a long lineup, right? And we were hogging the line, so people were grumbling. And in the middle of the line, this guy that I went to school with was there, Doug. And Doug looks at me and recognizes me and says, oh my God, it's Michael Smith. I can't believe it's Michael Smith. That's who's been having sex in the bathroom. It's Michael Smith having sex in the bathroom. I can't believe it. And all these people in line. And I'm thinking to myself, thank Christ my name is really common. That's the only thing saving me. I didn't have the V there yet. Oh my God, it was mortifying. So I say goodbye to Doug and I say goodbye to my newfound friend whose name I didn't get. And I decide, okay, well, I better go home. So I need to leave the party. I can't find my ticket. My ticket was inside the glove, was inside one of my gloves, and I wasn't wearing my glove anymore. And I don't know where my glove was. I was only wearing one glove. Suddenly I looked and I went, oh my God, where's my glove? And my ticket was in that glove. But there were only so many drag queens at the dungeon party, so it was really easy to tell them what my coat looked like, and she knew nobody else was going to go home with that coat. I had this great big fuzzy pink jacket. Oh, today I wore my outfit, well, other than, this is just for color. But today I wore my caution stripes because this is a cautionary tale. So I'm still in my heels and I'm in my orange dress and I go staggering down the street and I wander up Church Street and I go by the Second Cup, which everybody called the Suction Cup. It was a coffee shop. The Second Cup was a chain, but at Church and Wellesley was the Suction Cup, which was really popular with all the gays. They all hang out there and they would sit on the steps. People also called it the steps. They called it either. If they were being classy, they'd go to the steps, but if they're being trashy, they were at the Suction Cup or the Cup. But when you said the cup, it didn't stand for the Second Cup. It stood for the Suction Cup. Just so you're clear on the lingo in case it comes in handy later, which it won't. So I wander up there and all these fags are sitting outside because, it's New Year's Eve. It's 2 a.m. It's last chance. They're all looking to see who's going by, who's still clean, who hasn't, stuck it somewhere dirty. That's what they're thinking. I'm just the one who says it out loud. So I see these guys who are being all brazen and having fun. And I'm like, oh God, I could just tell, right? Because I was a bit of a wreck. And they say, "Oh my God, who are you? Look at you. You look like the chicken lady. Bark, bark, bark. You're the chicken lady. Bark, bark, bark. You're the chicken lady." And I didn't know who the chicken lady was. It's from Kids in the Hall. And they weren't that popular. I didn't have cable. So I didn't know who the chicken lady was. But you know what? Years later, I was really mad at them at the time. But years later, they were right. I did look like the chicken lady. Anyways, I was so angry with them because they were giving me a hard time. I was like, "You're giving me a hard time. I'm a drag queen." I started giving them a hard time, and I was being bitchy with them. But I was being bitchy, like saying, and they were saying, "Oh, look at you. You're missing your makeup. Your makeup is smudged, honey." And I was like, "Yeah, well, if you sucked as much dick as me tonight, your makeup would be smudged too." Because I thought that was telling them off. Anyways, so I went home. I don't know how I got there. I must have taken a cab or something. Yeah. I went home, I went to bed, I woke up in the morning, and my pubes, when I went to go pee, and my pubes were covered in orange feathers. I had orange feathers all through my pubes. My pubes were orange. I looked like a redhead. And then I had a hangover because I had a little bit of a blackout, like I sort of lost track of big chunks of the evening, which is why we sort of went from I got there to Paul leaving, because I don't really remember much of what happened in between there except for making out. I don't remember how I got home. I must have taken a cab, but I don't remember how I got home. Those things are scary too. And I went out to have breakfast with Paul. Paul was up, and we sort of laughed about the evening. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I ended up having sex with somebody in the bathroom." Paul was like, "Oh yeah, I know." And I'm like, "Oh, because you saw us in line." He said, "Yeah." And then when I got my coat and I turned around to leave, the bathroom door swung open because somebody was coming out of the washroom, and I saw your wig. I ruined the punchline. The bathroom door opened, and I saw your wig over top of the bathroom stall bobbing like a pom-pom. You looked like a cheerleader with pom-poms. And that was my first blackout. Yeah. Well, there were many more exciting adventures after that. Don't you worry. I want to show you some photos that people sent me because it's really darn cute. Look, people sent me selfies. There's my friend Anas and his buddies and a selfie. Isn't that sweet? And look, this is technology. Oh, that's my biggest fan. She said she can't get enough of my stories. She thinks I'm the funniest brother alive because that's my sister. There's my friend Catherine, who I run with. Shout out to Catherine. Yo, we should run on Tuesday morning. And her buddy and Francis and I. And this is my favorite one. Look, that's somebody's cat. It's the first time a pussy's ever come between Francis and I. I told you it was an adult show. It's true stories for adults. Adult show. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, I want to tell you the most exciting thing about my studio. So first I want to just make note of, have I told you the one about? And now, look, this is by accident. I didn't even realize this, but I can take a picture like I usually do, but it's got both titles. It's got the show title and the story title. I didn't even mean for that to happen. I just needed to fill some blank white space, and there's the magic of all of that. Oh, I'm really happy. But the best part of my new studio, are you ready? Is my chair spins. Woo! I feel like Beyonce. Okay, there you go. I want to say that you're amazing, and I'm very happy. And these are hard days. And if you're feeling freaked out, fuck if I'm not feeling freaked out too. I'm just faking it. And it's really great having this show because it gives me a project and I focus on it every day, and it does me a world of good. So I'm glad you're here listening. So I have a reason to be here too because I really love it. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Nobody even reminded me. You're terrible viewers. I called you my intimates and you didn't remind me about the magic story bag, and I almost hung up. You like it when I forget. You're nasty. I give and give and give. Okay, you ready? What's tomorrow? I'm in a really good mood. I'm really happy tonight. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this story. Oh, okay. Here, this is a new one. Lost at 3. I got lost at the age of 3 in I'll tell you about it. It's a harrowing story, but whatever. I'm still alive. Here I am. I'm good. I need to remind you about the notification bell. If you like any of my stories, it'd be great if you'd share, because more people who hear about it, the more joy I bring, the better it is. But I don't care about the numbers, so don't do it if you're like, he's always talking about that shit. It's also part of the YouTube culture. Maybe I could change that, but whatever. It's fun. I like counting numbers. I'm a little too OCD about it. Like, share, and subscribe. And oh, yes. And if you want your selfie, here's your selfie time. You can always go back and pause it, but here's your selfie time. Look, you can just stand right there in front of the sign. And now I get to go here. Look, I go here and I click that button. And then I'm going to give you a kiss, and I'll see you later. Bye, my sweethearts.